Mosasaurus Double Trouble by Colton Dennis. Mosasaurus, the Meuse lizard. When a prehistoric dinosaur appears in the Meuse River, the people of France must try to figure out a way to kill this creature before they end up as the next extinct species. A boat appears in the ocean. Number 1 throws a fishing pole. A bomber goes into the water, then floats. Number 1 sits into a chair, then grabs a beer. The beer opens. Number 1 takes a drink of the beer. Woman number 1 appears in a bikini laying on a towel. Number 1 looks at woman number 1. Looking good. Beautiful, said number 1. Thanks, honey. So, when do we get to Paris? Asked woman number 1. Soon. Very soon, said number 1. The bomber goes underneath the water. The fishing reel starts winding. Number 1 grabs the fishing pole, then struggles. Do you have something, honey? Asked woman number 1. Yeah, and whatever it is, it's big. I can barely hold on to it, said number 1, getting pulled into the boat banister, then puts his foot onto it. The fishing line snaps. Oh God, are you all right? Asked woman number 1. I'm fine. Just a little bruise on my arm. Damn. Whatever that was. It was a strong son of a bitch, said number 1. A bellowing sound. Both number 1 and woman number 1 look at each other. What was that, babe? Asked woman number 1. I don't know. Water splashes in the distance. Both number 1 and woman number 1 look at the water. Something's in the water, said number 1. Oh, my God. What is it? Asked woman number 1. Don't worry. It's probably a whale or something else, said man number 1. Something else? Asked woman number 1. Yeah, like a shark or dolphin, said number 1. I hope it's a dolphin. They're really cute, said woman number 1. You think everything's cute, said number 1. I'm a free spirit, said woman number 1. Bellowing sound again. The boat gets bumped. Both number 1 and woman number 1 fall onto the floor of the boat. Jesus, I don't think it's a dolphin. And it's too small to be a shark, said number 1. The boat gets bumped again. Both number 1 and woman number 1 fall into the banister. A figure swims underneath the boat. Babe, I don't think that's a whale either, said woman number 1. The water splashes in the distance again. Number 1 runs. The boat gets bumped a third time. Number 1 bumps into woman number 1. Woman number 1 falls over the banister, goes into the water, then resurfaces. Honey, come on. Reach for my hand, said number 1. Woman number 1 reaches for number 1's hand. Woman number 1 gets pulled underneath the water. Blood appears. Number 1's eyes widen, stands up, then runs towards the boat wheel. The bellowing sound echoes. Number 1 stops, then looks around. The boat breaks, then sinks. Meuse River. Europe. Carly Komorowski appears. Cameras are flashing. Oh, that's it, baby. Give me more of that, said Christopher Canier, appearing holding a camera. Carly puts her hand onto her hips, then leans forward. Donnell Callanan appears sitting in a chair. Are we almost done, Chris? The sun's almost gone, said Donnell. Christopher looks up at the sun. Yeah, I'll get a few more shots. Then we'll call it a day, said Christopher. The camera continues flashing. Footsteps are walking. Both Holly, Kyle and Joshua Jimenez appear. Hey babe. Look, said Holly. Yeah, that's Colry Komorowski, the supermodel. Wow, said Joshua. I wonder if we could get a picture, said Holly. Let's ask, said Joshua. Both Holly and Joshua are walking towards Carly. Excuse me, are you Carly Komorowski? Asked Holly. Yeah, said Carly. Can we get a picture? Asked Holly. Sure, said Carly. All three. Look at the camera. The camera flashes. Thank you, said Holly. You're welcome. Nice to meet fans, said Carly. Both Holly and Joshua walk away. Christopher approaches. So Carly, what do you say? Me and you head back to my place, asked Christopher. Sorry, Chris. I don't date co-workers, said Carly, walking away. Donnell approaches. Damn. You really thought you were gonna get some tonight? Asked Donnell. Well, I still could, said Christopher, putting his arm around Donnell. Donnell scoffs, then walks away. Both Kevin Kopko and Michaela Kishbaugh appear inside a van. All right, we sneak inside, grab the money, then get the hell out of here, said Kevin. And go where exactly? Asked Michaela. There's a boat tour. We'll sneak onto it, said Kevin. All right, said Michaela. The back of a bank appears. Both Kevin and Michaela are standing at the back door. Michaela pulls out a pick. The back door unlocks, then opens. Both Kevin and Michaela are walking, then get to a vault. People appear laying on the floor. Kevin nods his head. Michaela turning the vault lock. The vault door opens. Stacks of money appears. Michaela starts grabbing the money, then puts it into a few bags. Got it, said Michaela. Let's go, said Kevin. Both Kevin and Michaela are running out of their bank, then towards the van. Security guard number 1 runs outside of the bank. Gun fires. Security guard number 1 falls onto the ground. Both Kevin and Michaela get into the van. The van starts, then drives away. All right, now get us to the boat, said Michaela. Scott Jarmuski and Stephanie Jennings appear on a boat laughing. Scott kisses Stephanie's neck. Keep doing that, said Stephanie. Gun cocks. Both Scott and Stephanie look. Sorry to interrupt, but we need a ride now. So if you don't mind, let's get going, said Kevin. The boat starts, then drives away. So, where are we going? Asked Scott. Away from here, to start a new life, said Kevin. With France money. Normally people do that with American money, said Scott. A bellowing sound. What was that? Asked Stephanie. The boat stops. Don't stop the boat, said Kevin. Wait. Whatever that was. Could be injured or worse, said Scott. You could be injured or worse. Now, continue driving the damn boat, said Kevin. The boat gets bumped. All 4 fall onto the boat floor. What the hell was that? Asked Michaela. The boat gets bumped again? Another bellowing sound. All right, we're out of here, said Scott. The boat starts driving. Stephanie looks ahead. Scott, look, said Stephanie, pointing. Scott looks. A figure swims towards the boat. The boat speeds up. Both Kevin and Michaela are firing their guns. The figure goes underneath the water. Where'd it go? Asked Michaela. The boat gets bumped a 3rd time. Kevin bumps into Michaela. Michaela falls over the banister, then holds onto it. Hold on, Michaela. I got you, said Kevin, grabbing Michaela's hand. The figure swims underneath the boat. Kevin looks at the figure. The boat gets bumped again. All 3 fall onto the boat floor. Michaela pulls herself up. A Mosasaurus appears from the water, bites Michaela, then pulls her into it. Michaela screams. What the hell was that? Asked Stephanie. Let's get out of here, said Kevin. The sun rises. Carly appears at a table. Both Christopher and Donnell approaching then sit down. So, how's my superstar today? Asked Christopher. I'm fine, Chris. Morning, Donnell, said Carly. Morning. So what's today's plan, Chris? Asked Donnell. Well, I was thinking we rent a boat and do a few shots from then ocean, said Christopher. Sounds great, doesn't it, Carly? Asked Donnell. Yeah, sure, said Carly. The restaurant door opens. Both Holly and Joshua appear. Hey Holly, look who it is, said Joshua. Holly looks then waves. Carly smiles then waves back at both Joshua and Holly. Friends of yours? Asked Christopher. I met them yesterday. They're fans, said Carly. Both Holly and Joshua approaching. Morning, Miss Komorowski, said Holly. Please, call me Carly, said Carly. All right. Well, I don't want to disturb you this early, said Holly. Thanks, said Carly. Both Holly and Joshua start to walk away. Hey, would you two like to come with us today? We're going on to the ocean for a photo shoot, said Carly. Sure, only if you don't think we're gonna be in the way, said Holly. No, I'd love for people to have an up-close and personal experience, said Christopher. All right. What time? Asked Joshua. Meet us in a half hour, said Christopher. Another boat appears. All three appear carrying items. Footsteps approaching. Hey guys, said Joshua. Hey, come aboard and help. If you don't mind, said Christopher. Sure, said Joshua. Cases are being opened. Donnell, let's get going. Time is money, said Christopher. The boat drives away. Carly puts on a bikini. Oh my God, you look so cute, said Holly. Thanks. Can you give me a hand with this? Asked Carly. Holly ties the bikini top. All right, Carly, ready? Asked Christopher. Yes, said Carly. Donnell, stop the boat. The boat stops. Carly, I want you here, said Christopher. The camera continuously flashing. Carly continuously posing. The camera continues flashing. Wow, she looks good, doesn't she? Asked Holly. Definitely, said Joshua. Holly looks at Joshua. Joshua looks away. All right, we've been at this spot for an hour. I know another perfect spot. Donnell, head down the Meuse River. There's a quiet spot at the end, said Christopher. The boat starts driving. All three are sitting. Christopher looking at the pictures. How's the pictures? Asked Carly. They're great. I'm glad you're my client, said Christopher. The boat continues driving. Whoa! Look at this, said Holly. This is the Meuse River. We're almost to our spot, said Christopher. The sun shining. The boat continues driving then slows down. How's this spot, Chris? Asked Donnell. Great. We'll get a few good shots. Here, said Christopher. Carly standing at the back of the boat. The camera flashing again. Donnell, standing on top of the boat then looks in the distance. Another boat appears in the distance. Hey, Chris, I see another boat in the distance, said Donnell. The boat driving then stops next to the first boat. Oh my, what happened to this boat? Asked Holly. I don't know. Donnell, can you get me closer? Asked Christopher. The first boat stops next to the second boat. Both Christopher and Joshua climb onto the second boat. Careful, one move. We go down with the boat, said Joshua. Both Christopher and Joshua are slowly walking then look into the bottom. A hole appears. Is that blood? Asked Christopher. Yeah, it looks like it, said Joshua. The money appears floating. Whoever was in Here. They're gone now, said Christopher. The water splashes. Carly looks at the water. Hey guys. Over here, said Carly. Both Donnell and Holly look. Scott appears floating. Oh God, said Holly. Jumping into the water, then swims towards Scott. Come on, said Donnell. Scott gets pulled onto the boat. Is he alive? Asked Carly. Donnell does CPR onto Scott. Scott coughs up water then gasps. Josh, we found someone, said Holly. Both Christopher and Joshua climb onto the first boat. Hey, careful, it's all right. You're alive, said Christopher. Where's my girlfriend? Asked Scott. Sorry man, we didn't see anyone else on the boat. She might be dead, said Joshua. Oh my God, said Scott. What happened? Asked Donnell. A creature came out of the water, and it ate the one guy's partner. Then we drove down here, because we knew this was a shortcut. But the creature followed us, said Scott. All right, the shoot's over. Donnell, get us to land, so we could tell the authorities, said Christopher. Donnell starts to climb up the ladder. The boat gets bumped. Donnell loses her balance, falls over the banister, then lands into the water. Donnell, said Carly. Donnell resurfaces. Both Holly and Joshua bend over the banister. Donnell grabs both Holly's and Joshua's hands. The Mosasaurus jumps out of the water, then eats Donnell and both Holly's and Joshua's torso. All three gasp. Oh my God, what was that? Asked Christopher. That was definitely a dinosaur. Let's get out of here, said Scott. Quickly climbs up the ladder. The boat starts, then drives away. The water splashes. Both Carly and Christopher look in the distance. The Mosasaurus appears, then follows the boat. It's following us, said Carly. What do we do? Asked Christopher. I don't know, said Carly. Hey, can you go any faster? Asked Christopher. Yeah, said Scott, pushing the lever up. The boat speeds up. The Mosasaurus goes underneath the water. Oh damn, said Christopher. What? Asked Carly. Hold on to something, said Christopher. Both Carly and Christopher hold on to the boat's banister. The water splashes in front of the boat. Scott looks. The Mosasaurus's tail appears. The boat turns left, then rams into the side. The engine continuously flooding. Damn, said Scott. What happened? Asked Christopher. We're stuck, said Scott. We can't stay here, said Carly. We need to rock the boat, said Scott, climbing down the ladder. All three shaking the boat. The boat shifts, then goes into the water. Got it, said Christopher. Scott moves. Christopher. The Mosasaurus snaps at Christopher, then swims away. Shit, it's blocking our way out, said Carly. I got an idea. Go back the way we came. There's land a few miles back, said Scott. The boat turns around, then drives away. The Mosasaurus follows the boat, then goes underneath the water. Again. Oh no, it's gonna ram us again, said Carly. The boat speeds up. There's the other boat. We have about a mile to get back to land, said Scott. The Mosasaurus jumps out of the water, then hits the boat. The boat flips over. Both Carly and Christopher resurface. Are you all right? Asked Christopher. Yeah, where's the other guy? Asked Carly. The water splashes. Both Carly and Christopher look. It's coming back, said Christopher. Both Carly and Christopher start swimming. The Mosasaurus gets closer, then opens its mouth. Scott moves Carly. Mosasaurus eats Scott, then goes underneath the water. Both Carly and Christopher continue swimming towards the boat. What do We do? Asked Carly. I don't know. Christopher looks at the second boat. Wait, I might have an idea, said Christopher, climbing onto the second boat. Gas tanks appear. Christopher bangs onto their gas tanks, then smiles. Carly looks. Christopher carrying the gas tanks. What are those for? Asked Carly. I have a plan, said Christopher, tying the gas tanks together. Carly looks up. The water splashes in the distance. Chris, said Carly. Christopher looks up, then sees the Mosasaurus. The Mosasaurus approaches the second boat. Christopher jumps off the second boat. The Mosasaurus breaks through the second boat, bites the gas tanks, then swims away. The gas hissing. Well, that plan backfired, said Christopher. The water splashes again. Carly looks, then sees the Mosasaurus approaching both of them. It's coming back. Carly sees a flare gun, then grabs it. A flare goes into the cartridge. The flare gun cocks. The Mosasaurus gets closer. Go back to the Cretaceous, you prehistoric bitch, said Carly, firing the flare gun. The Mosasaurus opens its mouth. The flare goes into Mosasaurus's mouth. The Mosasaurus explodes. Both Carly and Christopher go underneath the water, then resurface. Jesus, remind me never to piss you off, said Christopher. Yeah, said Carly. So, what about me and you now? Asked Christopher. It's never gonna happen. Chris, now, I hope you know how to drive a boat, said Carly, patting Christopher's back. The second boat drives away. The end. Mosasaurus 2. Natural selection. When a Mosasaurus is spotted on the coast of Cuba, it's up to the Cuban military to try and stop this creature. But what they don't know is that the Mosasaurus starts going through some changes. Is this the end of all humanity? And will there be a new species? At the top of the food chain, a laboratory appears in the middle of the ocean. People appear walking around. Christopher Kropewnicki appears, then approaches number 1. Here's the test results. Looks like he's getting healthier and bigger, said Christopher. Number 1 turns around. David Lebensky appears. That's good to hear. Is there anything else I should know? Asked David. Nothing, sir, said Christopher. All right, get back down to the lab and inject the chemical, said David. Are you sure about that chemical shot, sir? Asked Christopher. Remember, Christopher, 1 shot a day, said David. Yes, Dr. Lebensky, said Christopher, walking away. Footsteps are walking. The laboratory door opens, then shuts. Christopher walking past a window. A figure appears next to the window. Christopher stops, then turns around. A Mosasaurus appears, then swims away from the window. Christopher grabs a tranquilizer gun, loads a dart filled with a chemical, then cocks it. The Mosasaurus's tail swims past. Christopher walks away. A door from above opens. Christopher appears walking on a catwalk. Stops at the banister, then nods his head. Woman number 1 pushes a button. A shark carcass appears on a hook, then hovers over the water. Lunchtime, said woman number 1. People are looking around. Where is it? Asked man number 2. Waiting, said Christopher. A bellowing sound. The Mosasaurus jumps out of water, then bites the shark carcass. Christopher fires the tranquilizer gun. The dart goes into the Mosasaurus's neck. The Mosasaurus goes underneath the water. Nice shot, said David. Yeah, we're lucky to have found this creature. Giving it a chance, said Christopher. No, this ain't about chances, Dr. Kropewnicki. This is about investments. Money's the key here, not heart, said David. What are you talking about? That's why I'm here. For him, said Christopher. Christopher, you have to think this through. Either nature or nurture, said David, walking away, typing on a keyboard. Footsteps are approaching. So how's the Mosasaurus doing? Asked woman number 1. Great. All his vital signs are good. Nothing seems to be bothering him. This could be his home for good, said Christopher. What about the open ocean? Asked woman number 1. Would you want that in the ocean? Say, you're surfing one day, and you stumble upon that, said Christopher. There are more dangerous animals in the water, said woman number 1. Not like the Mosasaurus, said Christopher. Well, I see a dangerous animal right now, said woman number 1, pointing down. Christopher smiles, then kisses woman number 1. Both Christopher and woman number 1 lay onto a bed. Woman number 1 moaning. David appears watching from a window, then walks away. The water splashing. David approaches the catwalk banister. Evening drive. Lebensky, said number 2. I want you to open those gates, said David. What? Why? Asked number 2. I'm gonna do a field test with the Mosasaurus, said David. Shouldn't Dr. Kropunicki be here too? Asked number 1. No, he's busy. Come on, open the gates, said David. I really should ask Dr. Kropunicki first, said number 2. David grabs number 2's shirt. I'm in charge, not Dr. Kropunicki. Now do as I say and open that damn gate, said David. No, said number 2. David pushes number 2. Number 2 grabs David's arms. David runs backwards. Number 2 goes into a pole. David turns around, then punches number 2. Number 2 falls onto the floor. David approaches the control panel, then presses a button. The gate appears, then the doors slowly open. An alarm goes off. Both Christopher and woman number 1 look at each other. The Mosasaurus, said Christopher. Footsteps are running. Both Christopher and woman number 1 appear. Close the gates. Close them, said Christopher. A gun cocks. I don't think so, said David, pointing a gun. David, what are you doing? Asked Christopher. Keeping my promise to someone, said David. A bellowing sound in the distance. All 3 look out the window. The Mosasaurus appears, swimming towards the open gate. We need to shut the gate, said Christopher. I don't think so, said David. Woman number 1 looks at the button, then quickly presses it. The gun fires. Woman number 1 gets shot, then falls onto the floor. No, said Christopher. The gate doors are slowly closing. David looks out the window again. The Mosasaurus continues swimming towards the gate. Come on, come on. The Mosasaurus swims through the gate. The gate doors close. Yes, it made it out, said David. What have you done? You've just released a million-year-old dinosaur. And this thing is changing, said Christopher. What do you mean? And what? Changing, and what? Asked David. It's evolving. This Mosasaurus will eventually grow legs and be able to walk on land and rule the sea, said Christopher. How long do we have? Asked David. I don't know, said Christopher. The Cuba coastline. Music playing. People appear. Dancing. The water splashing. People appear swimming. Are you ready? Asked number 3. Yeah, let me fly, said woman number 2. The boat starts, then drives away. Woman number 2 flies up, then cheers. The Mosasaurus appears, then swims towards the boat. Yeah, babe, show me your tits, said number 3. Woman number 2 unties her bikini top, then throws it Cheering continues. The boat gets bumped. Whoa, what was that? Asked man. Number 4. I don't know, said number 3. The boat continues driving. Woman number 2 cheering then looks down. The Mosasaurus swims past. Oh my God, get me down. Pull me in. Pull me in, said woman number 2. What? Asked man number 3. Pull me in, said woman number 2. I think she wants to come back to the boat, said number 4. Man number 3 starts turning the crank. Woman number 2 being lowered towards the boat. Woman number 2 looking around. The Mosasaurus jumps out of the water then eats woman number 2. Both number 2 and number 3 scream. Let's get out of here, said man number 4 pushing the lever. Man number 3 falls out of the boat. And quat, hey, and quat. And quat, hey, and quat, and quat. Come back here, and quat, yelled number 3 being pulled underneath the water. People watching from the beach. The boat continues driving. The Mosasaurus jumps out of the water. The boat flips. Man number 4 resurfaces then tries climbing onto the boat. The Mosasaurus eats number 4. Then swims away. People screaming. A military base appears. Telephone ringing. Hello, Private. Krieger here. Uh-huh. Yes, I'll get Lieutenant Kratz. Hold on 1 minute. Devon Krieger appears walking. Kyle Koviak appears. Kyle, have you seen Lieutenant Kratz? Asked Devon. She's in a board meeting, right? Now, said Kyle. I'm on the phone with someone, saying they just seen a dinosaur kill these people. On a boat, said Devon. Let me talk to them. Kyle walks then grabs the telephone. This is Private Koviak. I'm second in command. Tell me what happened, said Kyle. A dinosaur appeared out of nowhere and killed 3 people on a boat, said female's voice number 1. This ain't a channel to play jokes, ma'am, said Kyle. I'm not playing a joke. 3 people got eaten, said female voice number 1. All right. Where did this happen? Asked Kyle. At Baracoa Beach, said female voice number 1. That's about an hour away, said Devon. All right, we'll be there when we can. Kyle puts down the telephone. This better not be a joke, said Kyle. Footsteps are walking. Jenny Kratz appears. I understand. Yeah? General, all right, said Jenny hanging up the telephone. Brian Lawal, Michael Ledson and Miranda Culp appear around the table. Well, the general said, and quat. They're making some cutbacks, and quat, said Jenny. Starting with us? Asked Brian. Yeah, said Jenny. What are we gonna do? Asked Michael. Just try to hang in there, said Jenny. And what about the others? Shouldn't we tell them? Asked Miranda. Soon, knocking on the door. Come in, said Jenny. The door opens. Sorry to interrupt, Lieutenant Kratz, but we just got word. A dinosaur was spotted in the waters of Baracoa Beach. And it ate 3 people, said Kyle. Are you serious about this? Asked Jenny. I wish I was, Lieutenant, but the woman seemed hysterical, said Devon. All right, load up. We're heading to Baracoa Beach, said Jenny. What about Robert and Tia? Asked Miranda. We'll call and tell them to meet us there, said Jenny. A car appears driving past. Both Robert Kotz and Tia Krupinski appear. Oh, did you see that guy checking you out? Asked Robert. What guy? Asked Tia. Oh, come on, you were flirting with him all night, said Robert. I was not. I was just trying to get free drinks, said Tia. Yeah, that definitely worked. I can't do that, said Robert. Why would you want a man to buy you drinks? Asked Tia, laughing. Robert smiles. Funny, said Robert. Walkie-talkie static. Private Kotz and Krupinski. This is Lieutenant Kratz. I need you both to meet us at Baracoa Beach. There has been an incident there, said Jenny. And they're calling the military, said Robert. This seems like a big situation, said Jenny. Roger that. Be there in a half hour, said Robert. The Mosasaurus appears swimming, bellows in pain, then its flippers slowly transform into legs. People appear walking. Another bellowing sound in the distance. What was that? Asked woman number 3. I don't know, said man number 5, bending over the banister. The Mosasaurus jumps out of the water, then bites number 5. Woman number 3 screams, runs, then falls. Mosasaurus bites woman number 3's leg, then pulls her into the water. Baracoa Beach. A truck pulls up. The doors open, then shut. Oh, thank God, said woman number 5. You must be the one that called us, said Jenny. Yes, you should have seen it. It was huge. I think it was a dinosaur. And it ate those people. My God, said woman number 5. All right, ma'am. We'll take it from here, said Jenny. So, what's the plan? Lieutenant, asked Miranda. I want boats in the water. Try to see if we could track this thing down, said Jenny. A boat appears driving. Both Christopher and David appear on the boat. Where do you think it would go? Asked David. Probably a place that has food, or maybe a place that might be peaceful, said Christopher. Hey, I'm sorry I let this thing out. And about your girlfriend? I was actually jealous, said David. Hey, I might be mad about you killing her and releasing our creature, but people get over it eventually, said Christopher. Hey, what's that? Asked David, pointing. The boat speeds up, then slows down. David grabs the object, then pulls up a leg. Oh God, said Christopher. It was definitely here. What's the closest land? Asked David. It'd be Cuba. Maybe it attacked a beach already, said Christopher. The only way to know is getting there, said David. The boat drives away. Other boats appear driving. Lieutenant, there's a boat, said Devon. Drive next to it, said Jenny. The boat stops next to the second boat. Afternoon, said David. Yeah, what are you two doing out here? Asked Jenny. We work in a laboratory in the middle of the ocean. I'm Dr. Kropunicky. This is Dr. Lebensky, said Christopher. Can I see your information, please? Asked Jenny. Both Christopher and David pull out their wallets. Devon grabs both of the wallets. Yeah, there. Doctor's all right, said Devon. Scientists actually, said Christopher. Where are you going so fast? Asked Jenny. We lost an experiment. We're looking for it, said Christopher. An experiment, said Jenny. Yeah, it's confidential, said David. It wouldn't happen to be a dinosaur, would it? Asked Jenny. Yes, it is, said Christopher. Well, your experiment just attacked Baracoa Beach. And now? We're on the hunt for it. Now that we know there's a dinosaur out here, how do we kill it? Asked Jenny. We can't kill it. We need to capture it alive. Or all of this was for nothing, said Christopher. I'm sorry, Dr. Kropunicky, is it? This thing just killed 3 people in a boat. Who knows who else it killed or will kill, said Jenny. Just give us a chance to capture it alive. We only need one chance. If we can't capture it, you could destroy it, said Christopher. You could capture it, but me and my team are on a search and destroy mission. Don't try to stop us. Let's go, said Jenny. The boat drives away. Looks like we're on our own, said Christopher. Don't worry, Chris, we'll capture it. Me and you. Then take it back to the lab, said David. The car continues. Driving then stops at a red light. Are we almost there? Asked Robert. Soon, said Tia. I just don't need Lieutenant Kratz thinking we flaked, said Robert. Yeah, but Baracoa Beach is a long drive, said Tia. The ground starts thumping. The car shaking. What the hell was that? Asked Robert. A tremor maybe, said Tia. That seemed like a big tremor. Maybe an earthquake is coming, said Robert. Probably, said Tia. The ground continues thumping. The car continues shaking. I don't think that's a tremor, said Robert. Are you sure about that? Asked Tia. Yeah, said Robert. Then what is it? Asked Tia. Look in the rearview mirror, said Robert. Both Robert and Tia look into the rearview mirror. The Mosasaurus appears behind the car. Both Robert and Tia turn around. The Mosasaurus roars. Both Robert and Tia scream. A rope being tied to the dock post. The tranquilizer guns are being grabbed. All right. Where should we look first? Asked David. Well, I believe we need a map of this island. Just so we know the area, said Christopher. Good idea, said David. Another boat appears driving then stops. Miranda looks through a pair of binoculars. See anything? Asked Brian. Nothing, but I don't know what we're looking for to begin with, said Miranda. A dinosaur, said Michael. What does a dinosaur look like? I know I've never seen an actual one, said Miranda. Just look for something that looks bigger than normal, or that's out of the ordinary, said Brian. All three continue looking around. Walkie-talkie static. Private Lawal, Ledson, and Culp. Have you found anything yet? Asked Jenny. Nothing yet, Lieutenant, but we'll keep looking, said Miranda. Good, keep your eyes open, and meet us back at the land in an hour, said Jenny. Yes, ma'am, said Miranda, putting the walkie-talkie down. The first boat floating. See anything you two? Asked Jenny. Nothing, Lieutenant, said Kyle. Maybe it wasn't a dinosaur. Maybe it was just a giant crocodile, said Devon. Crocs don't get that big. I know the biggest croc was the Dinosuchus, said Jenny. What? Asked Kyle. It was the biggest croc to ever live in the Cretaceous period, said Jenny. Well, whatever this is, we'll kill the bastard, said Kyle. Well, I don't see anything. Let's head back to shore, said Jenny. The boat starts then drives away. The second boat appears. Walkie-talkie static. Privates, head back to the land. We're not seeing anything, said Jenny. Yes, Lieutenant. Let's go, guys. There's nothing out here, said Michael. The water splashes in the distance. All three look up. What was that? Asked Brian. All they are looking around. The water splashes from behind all three of them. All three turn around. Tell the lieutenant we might have found it, said Brian. Miranda reaches for the walkie-talkie. The boat gets bumped. Miranda bumps into Michael. Michael falls into the water. Michael, said Brian. Michael resurfaces. Brian reaches for Michael. Michael swimming towards the boat. The Mosasaurus eats Michael then swims away. Damn, you bastard, said Miranda. Guns continuously firing. The Mosasaurus continues swimming away. Miranda grabs the walkie-talkie. Lieutenant, we lost Michael. The creature ate him, said Miranda. Stay there, We're on our way, said Jenny. Yes, Lieutenant, said Miranda. Miranda, look, said Brian, pointing. The Mosasaurus swimming towards the boat. It's coming back, said Miranda. Both Brian and Miranda raise their guns. The Mosasaurus goes underneath the water. Brian nods his head. Both Brian and Miranda look over the banisters on either sides of the boat. I don't see anything, said Miranda. Me either, said Brian. The boat appears in the distance. There's the lieutenant, said Miranda, waving. Lieutenant, there they are, said Kyle. The boat speeds up. Miranda continues waving. The boat gets bumped. Both Brian and Miranda fall onto the boat floor. The water splashes. A bellowing sound. Miranda, jump. Brian jumps out of the boat. Miranda looks. The Mosasaurus breaks through the boat. And quat, Miranda, and quat, yelled Brian. The boat approaches. Brian, said Devon. Brian gets pulled into the boat. Where's Miranda? Asked Jenny. She was in the boat, said Brian. Let's get out of here, said Kyle. We need to find Miranda, said Jenny. I think that'll change your mind, Lieutenant, said Kyle, pointing. The Mosasaurus appears swimming towards the boat. The boat drives away. The Mosasaurus swims faster. It's gonna get us, said Devon. The Mosasaurus goes underneath the water. Where'd it go? Asked Kyle. The Mosasaurus appears in front of the boat. All four scream. Mosasaurus snapping at all four of them. A dart goes into Mosasaurus's neck. The Mosasaurus bellows. Another dart goes into Mosasaurus's neck. The Mosasaurus bellows again, then swims away. All four look. Both Christopher and David appear in another boat. Are you four all right? Asked Christopher. Yeah, thanks for the help, said Jenny. Thank me when we're on land, said Christopher. Both boats are driving away. The ropes are being tied to the dock post. All six standing on the dock. So doctors want to tell me what the hell that was? Asked Jenny. It's a Mosasaurus, said Christopher. That's not a Mosasaurus. A Mosasaurus doesn't have legs. That thing does. It looked like a crossbreed between a Mosasaurus and a crocodile, said Jenny. It's a Mosasaurus. Before it left the lab, it was starting its new evolution stage, said Christopher. What evolution stage? A Mosasaurus doesn't have another stage of evolution, said Jenny. Well, think about us. The Darwin effect. Everyone believes we came from apes. Birds are related to dinosaurs. So, why can't a Mosasaurus have an evolutionary path? Asked Christopher. This thing is gonna kill everyone. Even if it has an evolutionary path. We need to kill it, said Jenny. And what do you propose? Asked David. We go into the water and kill it, said Jenny. How? Asked Christopher. I have my own submarine with its own arsenal, said Jenny. A door opens. A submarine appears. A crane raises the submarine, then drops it into the water. The submarine door opens. Both Devon and Kyle walk onto the submarine. You be careful out there, said Christopher. I always am, said Jenny, walking onto the submarine. The submarine goes underneath the water, then drives away. Do you really think they'll destroy your monster? Asked David. It's no longer my monster. It's ours, said Christopher. The submarine continues driving. Beeping sound. Lieutenant, I think I have located the Mosasaurus, said Kyle. Good. Let the Mosasaurus come to us, said Jenny. How? Asked Devon. Jenny presses a button. Eerie sound. The The Mosasaurus appears. Swimming, then hears eerie sound. The submarine continues driving. The Mosasaurus appears in the distance. Lieutenant, I think we got its attention, said Devon. Fire missile 1, said Jenny. Kyle presses a button. A missile goes towards the Mosasaurus, then explodes. The Mosasaurus bellows in pain. We hit it, but it's not dead, said Kyle. Fire another one, said Jenny. Another missile goes towards the Mosasaurus. The Mosasaurus moves. The missile explodes in the distance. It missed, Lieutenant, said Kyle. Jesus, fire another, said Jenny. Firing another missile, said Kyle. Guys, said Devon. All three. Look at the sonar. The figure is getting closer. The Mosasaurus swims towards the submarine. Dear God, said Jenny. The Mosasaurus rams the submarine. The submarine shaking. The Mosasaurus swims. Away the darts towards the submarine again. Lieutenant, said Devon. The sonar beeping. Oh no, said Jenny. The Mosasaurus swims towards the submarine, then opens its mouth. The submarine explodes. Both Christopher and David appear standing on the dock. The water raises in the distance. Oh no, said Christopher. Do you think they're dead? Asked David. If that was the submarine. I believe so, said Christopher. How do we stop this thing, Chris? Asked David. I don't know. Maybe we could lead it back to the laboratory, said Christopher. So it'll destroy the lab. I'm sorry to say this, but we need to kill it, said David. What about your investments? Asked Christopher. I can't believe I'm saying this, but money isn't everything. Now think, said David. Christopher looking then sees the towers in the distance. There, the waste disposal. Maybe its evolutionary stage can't take a lot of waste or toxins, said Christopher. Great idea, but how do we get it up there? Asked David. I don't know. Only if we had something it likes, said Christopher. A truck appears driving then. Swerves. The Mosasaurus roars. The truck drives backwards then crashes into a tree. Number 5 runs out of the truck. What you looking at? Asked David. I found our ride, said Christopher running towards the truck. David follows Christopher. Both Christopher and David get into the truck. The Mosasaurus appears walking around. We need to get its attention, said Christopher. David grabs a fish then throws it. The fish lands onto the road. The Mosasaurus looks down at the fish, eats it then spots the truck. Now it sees us, said David. The truck drives backwards then turns around. The Mosasaurus follows the truck. Keep throwing fish, said Christopher. David walks into the back of the truck, then opens the door. The Mosasaurus roars. David grabs a fish then throws it. The Mosasaurus starts eating the fish. That's right. Keep following us, said David. The waste facility appears. The truck drives through the gate. Hey, said number 6. The Mosasaurus roars then steps onto number 6. The truck continues driving then stops. What's the plan? Asked David. I don't have one. All I knew was to get it up here, said Christopher. The Mosasaurus roars. Drive into the toxic waste. It might follow, said David. You're crazy. It'll kill us, said Christopher. Do it, said David. The truck drives towards the waste facility's tower. The Mosasaurus appears in front of the truck then bites the front of it. The truck's front end gets lifted off of the road. Tires continuously squealing. David fires the gun. The Mosasaurus roaring. Christopher sees a piece of marlin, then grabs it. What are you doing? Asked David. Christopher puts the piece of marlin onto gas pedal. Tires continue squealing. Shot it in its eye, said Christopher. David points the gun. The gun fires. The bullet goes into the Mosasaurus's eye. The Mosasaurus roars. The truck goes into the Mosasaurus. Both Christopher and David jump out of the truck. The truck pushing the Mosasaurus into the waste facilities tower. The waste tower breaks. Both Mosasaurus and truck go into the waste. Roaring echoes. The waste burning the Mosasaurus. I think it's dead, said David. Me too, said Christopher. Well, I guess our experiment's gone. And what do we do about the lab? Asked David. Well, we could always start a new project, but not let it be released, said Christopher. You've got yourself a deal, said David. Both Christopher and David laughing, then walks away. The laboratory appears. The water splashing. Underneath, the water appears. A figure swims past. A baby Mosasaurus appears, then swims away. Eggs appear at bottom of the cage. The Mosasaurus bellows. The end.